This week's Parsha, we encounter the special mitzvah of tzitzit. Not the classic verses that we say when we read the third paragraph of the Shema, but we have a special commandment to put on tzitzit. And there's a big debate between the commentators of why do we wear tzitzit and how does tzitzit remind us of Hashem? Because the Torah tells us, "Uschartem lachem et kol mitzvot," that when you wear the tzitzit, it should remind you to do all the mitzvot. So how does it work? How does it work that when I'm wearing tzitzit, it reminds us of Hashem? So there's a debate between the Ramban and Rashi on this. Rashi tells us that the reason it reminds us of doing all the mitzvot is because tzitzit in Gematria equals 600. And then if you add the 5 strings and the 5 knots, and the 8 strings, that gives you 613. And therefore you remember the 613 commandments. The Ramban, on the other hand, quotes the Gemara and tells us that we're meant to have the special blue string, which I have on my tzitzit here, called the Teitzei. And that blue string is meant to remind you of the sea, which reminds you of the sky. And then you remember that Hashem sits above us, and that will remind you to do all the commandments of Hashem. So the question is, what's really going on behind this argument between these two commentators? And I think the argument is like this, is that there are 2 modes in our service of God. The first mode could be a very intellectual mode of serving God, where we learn Torah and we connect to Hashem on a very intellectual basis. And that's what I think Rashi is talking about. It's a very intellectual way of seeing God, where you have to work out tzitzit equals 600, the gematria, the numerical value of each letter equals 600, and then plus the 5 knots and the 8 strings equals 613. So it's a very intellectual way of identifying God. Whereas the Ramban and the Gemara in Menachot really talks about a much more experiential way of, an emotional way of experiencing Hashem, where you see the blue of the sea, seeing the beauty of Hashem's world, and that ultimately leads you to seeing Hashem's greatness in this world. And the Rambam in Hilchot Yesodei HaTorah tells us beautifully that the way that you can come to love God is through these 2 elements, through the Chokhmah, through the intellect, and through seeing His wonderful creations in this world. And each one of us has to find our own unique balance of serving Hashem and finding that relationship with Hashem through an intellectual way, and how much we connect Him through intellectual ways. And more than that, also we have to find our way of how we connect to Him on an emotional, spiritual way, seeing the nature, seeing the world, how He's created. And I think each individual finds their own unique space. And that's really, when we see the tzitzit, and you see somebody else wearing tzitzit, it should remind you of how you can connect to Hashem in either one of these ways. And building up to Rosh Hashanah in a couple of weeks' time, we are reminded to continue building and strengthening our connection with Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbat Shalom.